And one of my main issues was that I had my camera not showing enough information and showing too much of my own tower when the creep waves would first meet. So it's like that information is useless. So I should be looking more ahead to see what information is actually useful. And then one problem I would have is my support would be fighting on the side, and I wouldn't help them at all. But that's because I'm not taking information to see if I should help them or not. And I would just value the CS, and I would just always assume my support is just out of position. But there would be sometimes where I was like, oh, I could have gotten a kill, but I wasn't able to because I just didn't even know if I should have helped.
What so you were playing carry last time. I mean I actually remember your session now. What made you move to 4? And why are we doing 4 today?
So usually when I get below Legend 3, I start playing carry because I just feel like most people kind of fell in the sense of not prioritizing themselves and getting items below that. But once I start to get in the ancient, I notice that people farm better and usually have a good idea of what items to go. So I switch back to support usually when that happens because I like to play support and offlane more. And so I feel like when I do play support and offlane more, I will probably be a little bit better at gathering information and looking around the map because I have more time to do that. So and Spirit Breaker is a hero I'm pretty solid with. I'm pretty good at knowing when to gank. I don't think I check my safe lane that much and move to the torment, the portal. But at checking mid, I do. And this game, I do a pretty good job at doing that because Drow is mid. So I pretty much knew oh, Ogre versus Drow, I can help that.
What would you say would mean a successful session for you today? What are you looking to get out of today?
Um, Probably just overall helping my ability playing support, and because the problem is with this game is that this game should be a win, but then turns into a loss as it just goes on and on. And so I think one of my main problems for these type of games is having an early game lead and then just losing it. And so if we could figure out what I might be doing wrong during this mid game phase, I guess.
Does that happen a lot to you, would you say? Getting an early
Once I
lead
start,
and then losing later?
I would say at this bracket, yeah, it's common enough to where I notice it, where it's we had a good lead and then we lost, and we could even be taking Roche, doing the tormentors, getting all the map, and the enemy is trapped in their base, but they just turtle really well and play the high ground really well, and then we lose.
Okay. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to say before we look into it?
No.
Cool. Check it out. So what's your idea going into this lane? Night Stalker, Spirit
Very
Breaker.
passive.
Okay.
Try to pull when I can. With Winter Wyvern's E, I figure we can't really get a kill unless she's gone.
Gotcha. Oh, that was a cool move. Okay.
I thought
I
of
was
that
wondering
on the
what you were doing.
spot too.
That
I
was
was
cool.
like, oh,
Okay. Cool move. How often would you say you like creep dragon stuff?
sometimes I do it. Not every game though. Let's just put that. I've done it. I usually try to tell my offlaner hey, I'm gonna creep drag. But this guy, I didn't tell him because I just figured trying to play as passive as possible.
I'm curious,
But
do
I
you
know
consider creep dragging to be more
no,
passive than this or less
yeah,
passive?
it's more passive, obviously. But I feel like if I'm positioning myself, he might get the idea that I want to go. But that's probably just my own mistake in making assumptions on him
Wh-
before giving him the chance.
What exactly are you afraid of happening? Sorry, I'm confused. What you're saying?
I'm deep over there. He might come with me.
If you're over here, you mean?
Yeah, he might see it as an opportunity to go on Winter Wyvern. Where it's like if I play the lane as literally as far back where I'm making like no indication of wanting to go on them. I guess I don't have a good excuse for not creep dragging. That's just the honest answer.
Yeah, I guess. Are you telling me that you're not creep dragging because you're afraid of how your teammate will respond to it?
No. Let me fix that. So the reason why I don't creep drag sometimes is because I've died doing it, and so I don't want to die. I guess.
I see.
And sometimes I do it and it works out just fine. Sometimes I do it and it just flubs. I lose the aggro and then they just go back and it's like, well, I didn't even do anything. So,
I see.
well, I guess it would double the wave and push into me, but like I've messed it up many times and I've succeeded.
Yeah, I
Sometimes
guess
it works
my
out.
thought here is that Lifestealer loves a static lane that just like sits in front of his tower. Like I can tell you as a Lifestealer player, and there's a lot of like melee carries that just love this. It's especially the melee carries who don't have stuns or like gap close or anything like that. They really like stable lanes. You know, something like Lifestealer is a great example. A hero like PL, um, hero like DK maybe, a hero like Jug, Faceless Void. I mean, Faceless Void doesn't mind him as much because he has Time Walk, but these heroes, these heroes that don't really do much in the early levels, they love the lane just sitting right here. Um, and so that's something I like to think about is, does the enemy carry mind if the lane is chaotic? And a lot of times the heroes that don't mind it, quote unquote, are the ones that if they see you doing this and they go over and you like pulling the creeps, they can like walk over and like kill you. So like a PA, for instance. You
Yeah.
know, she's like level 2 or 3, you're trying to drag the creeps and Wyvern's gotten you low and then she's going to like dagger you and kill you. These are heroes that could potentially shut down creep dragging because what you're effectively doing is isolating yourself from your offlaner, right?
Mhm.
So heroes that can gap close are really good at punishing that, while heroes like Lifestealer don't want you to do that.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Could you do me a favor also and show me like the path I would take to creep drag on if I'm dire? Because on Radiant it's super straightforward, but on dire I have more trouble getting it behind my tier two because like the tier two is in feels like there's no like path from the secret shop to the lane where the tier two won't aggro onto them. But with the Radiant, there's that little path you can take.
I got you. I got you. There we go. I'm just gonna wait for the second wave. Buy myself some boots.
Make sure to get the taunt out.
Yep, it's very important. So yeah, pretty standard things that you're already doing is that you want to grab the creeps, you want to like body block the camp as you're walking by. Sometimes you'll even need to like block that because they can pull that into it, so you have to be careful of that. A lot of times you'll take a decent amount of health. You have to re-aggro them right here.
Okay.
Make sure they see you here as well, because when they lose track of you. And then ideally you get like 1 or 2 creeps. Like I did it not perfectly here. I would have liked to get 1 more melee. But then we get a free deny on the range, and then I'm just going to run around in circles. I mean, this is like if we want to be perfectly optimal is we want to get 1 or 2 creeps, or 2 or 3, I'd say, not 1 or 2.
Right.
I messed up getting too few there, so we want to do it like, yep, like that.
Okay.
So this is like super obnoxious for heroes like Lifestealer because they're just going to be over here and being like, what do I do now? And Wyvern may come over here and contest you, but you've got 67 base damage and she's like a 45 base damage ranged hero. Now that I'm seeing it, I don't do this very often. I just know what I'm supposed to do. So I think I would have actually taken the creeps over here so that this doesn't happen.
Okay.
Is what I would have done. So rather, I was like running them around in circles over here. I would run them around in circles over here to prevent this.
The tier 2.
Yeah. But that's the general path. Actually, I'll just quickly go back into the map real quick. It's just important to know that when the creeps lose sight of you, they'll stop chasing you. I'm sure you already know that to some degree. So on when you're dire specifically, the 2 spots that they're going to lose track of you are right here and right around this tree right here. So like what happens here, I'll show you. Just perhaps this has already happened to you, based on what you were saying. Yeah. I don't really care about time and getting this right. That's not why I'm showing you here. So you probably do this one correct because it's the same on Radiant right here. So you obviously have to turn around and attack them here. But if you keep running here where you run through the trees. Well, they kept on me this time. But there's going to be times where if you don't do that correctly, the range creep plus a melee will not find you basically, and you'll lose half the wave. So this is a moment where I make sure I turn around and attack again. So I go around this corner and then I make sure I attack them. I'll do something like this,
That's good to know. Those 2 spots.
Yeah.
Is where
that's the time where if you were losing funky aggro, then you would that's when it would be happening. I guess I want to give one more thing. Now that we're here, since we're just talking about creep dragging, and we'll get back into the game. So if you're against a carry that can potentially combine catch you over here, say it's any carry with a stun, or we said a PA here with a slow or something. So say you're dragging the creeps and you see the carry walking over, right? Those are times where you could die. So if you see that happening, then you want to do this. And then you're in a spot where, the creep drag ends up way different, but we want to keep going. We keep going. And the path ends up being like this. And you do it for the creep wave at 130. You get to catch the creeps right here. Make sure they don't lose us on trees. Any of these trees, they can potentially lose us. Then we can actually take this one all the way. Make sure they don't lose us on trees. And we take this one all the way back here. And oftentimes, if I'm creep dragging and there's a hero like Jakiro or Wyvern, I mean, on it, I'm too busy, but I try to get 3 creeps instead of 4. But if there's a hero like Jakiro or Wyvern where they have slows and they can do a bunch of damage to me while I'm doing this, then I will have flown myself a salve with the bounty gold. With intent. With Spear Breaker, you can even consider, if you're pulling it all the way back to here, you can even consider, finishing off the creep wave, going to base, and charging back in, But, yeah, this is creep dragging, and I say this because your lane was going fine, but I can just tell you against these, stationary carries who can't kill you, they just fucking hate you when you do this. It's so fucking annoying. Don't look at my Spear Breaker win rate. Okay. So, yeah. They hate you when you do this. And I'm telling you that, you said you play carry, so I'm just telling you from a carry player's perspective that, if you are, I'm just going to type this in your chat. If you are playing 4 position, ask yourself if the carry, melee 4 position, playing melee 4 position, and you want to drag creeps. Jesus. Ask yourself if the carry is mobile or not. Basically, can they punish? And do you understand what I mean by the type of heroes that want stable lanes and the type of heroes that don't?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do they want stable lanes? Because this is just, for me, it ends up being more optimal. Because even though your Night Stalker's having a perfectly fine game, Lifestealer's like free farming with zero, like, zero missed CS basically, because the creeps are just sitting right in front of his tower. And so that's why we're talking about this. And then the other thing is, the more that we disrupt this lane, what ends up happening is we're effectively with the Night Stalker less. You're already not playing with him. Like, you clearly understand that you and him don't really have like lane synergy of any kind. Like, you clearly get that part already. So what ends up happening is that when you make these moves to mid lane right here, you'll have been disrupting this lane. Wyvern's like chasing you around. This pull's probably not happening. Then you make the exact same move that you just did on mid, and then your Night Stalker is not stuck laning 1v2 with the lane near their tower and this creep camp getting pulled. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But everything else you're doing, like the looking mid and checking the dive and like leaving at the time you did, in theory, the only thing we can do better is set it up so that the lane that we leave looks better. That's the only thing we can do. And by disrupting the lane against heroes that like it to be stable, they just can't really do much to you. And then when you leave, it's less costly to your offlaner than it would be otherwise. But this is still a good move. So I don't want to tell you, like, don't make this move.
Yeah.
So
what you're saying makes sense. Yeah. I feel bad for the Night Stalker because I've been that Night Stalker before, and it does suck. And so if I do give him something that makes him, help keep his mentality, that would be good. But I had no problems with him. He never got upset or really said anything to me. So
yeah, I mean, the thing is that there's miscommunication that happens between cores and supports, because a lot of core players will take it personally that you're leaving him behind. But this is the best use of your hero. So, like,
I think he knew that, because, like I said, he didn't complain at all. And I'm just saying, I feel bad for him because I've been there, and it's just like, oh, this sucks to be in this lane where I'm having all my creeps denied. But good job for killing the mid.
Yeah, I guess all I'm concerned about, because I respect that, like, you're considerate of your teammates and in their position, is earlier when I asked you, like, why you're not dragging and stuff, and you did mention some stuff about, like, the mechanics of the lane. I don't mind if you have, like, compassion and empathy for the guy in the off lane, but if that's preventing you from making good moves, that's when it becomes a problem. Right? So if you're still going to make these moves, then great for being considerate. This is what you can do to minimize the damage to the guy. But it's not like you're making a bad play here. And we just want to... I have had people I've coached that will not make good plays because of fear of their teammates raging at them or whatever. And that's just not helping anybody, sadly. So I just want... That's the line I'm trying to draw. And as long as we're on the same page there, then we're all good. So if you have any questions, let me know. Okay, so you charge back in, of course. You bought out and died to tower. These are all cool moves. Very cool moves. Get the D-ward in lane. Yeah, nice. You're picking on Drow. Very good. You run straight back bottom.
As soon as I got the first kill on her, like, my brain clicked, like, oh, it's Ogre Drow. She's going to have a miserable time in this lane.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, not much you could probably do about that one. Got the Lotus. Yeah, interestingly enough, here when you get the Lotus, you can, like, either go through the gate, or what would be great for the Night Stalker here, since you're full HP, is for you to walk in and defensive aggro the creeps for him. This is a great thing to do when you're like a melee guy, and even though Night Stalker can do it himself, I just want you to think that you don't want to just sit in this lane. So doing things that move the lane back here allow you to leave the lane. So the reason why Night Stalker needs you all the time is because the lane's consistently sitting right here. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So there's a lot of little things you can do you seem to be pretty creative with your play, like you did the sentry play and all that kind of stuff. I just want you to remember that if you're playing these type of heroes that are going to leave lane, that's perfectly fine. The more that you can get the lane here, or chaotic where it's like back here, or like, you know, some crazy shit where the 5's chasing after you and all that kind of stuff, the more you do that, the less costly it will be to your offlaner. And these are just things to think about. Okay.
I will say I do defensively aggro if I have a ranged offlaner, so I probably just not thinking of it as important because
Okay.
Night Stalker is.
I believe it. I believe it. You're doing a lot of little small things. I'm just mentioning your options. But overall,
Yeah.
I do like what you're doing here, so we don't need to spend too much more time on this. Let's look at top. You're going to charge it. Okay. Nice. I think my only major concern is that you don't buy, like, clarities or anything, or, like, raindrops or, like, something like this. So you're, like, just
Kind of goes
run...
Soul Ring here, which I think I probably shouldn't have, but it's probably not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I feel like I would like to see a stick or a raindrop or something, because I don't think you need to go back to base as much as you are. I don't hate it, but I think it's, you know, a small investment there. But I like drums, obviously. Drums are very good on Spearbreaker. I would have liked to see, like, one mana item or even just, like, a clarity or something based on what the
It
game's
definitely
looking like.
becomes a problem, and I'm just gonna buy a Soul Ring.
I see. Yeah, I think even, like, a casual stick goes a really long way. People are casting spells around you.
Yeah.
You canceled your TP, I guess, on accident there? Or is that purposeful?
I think I did cancel.
You,
I
like,
can't remember.
insta-canceled it, it looks like. Was this a
Yeah,
misclick, or was this a intentional cancel?
I think it was a misclick cancel.
Okay, do you have the teleport requires stop option on?
Yes.
Okay, so that was you misclicked stop there.
I think my brain just brain farted and it was
I see.
like, press stop. And it's like, wait, no.
Okay, I see. Okay. Yeah, you're definitely going base, like, way more off. Like, a small, like, a stick and a clarity would have solved this problem, I think.
Yeah.
Very obviously you're not a hero that really flash farms, so we don't want to, like, invest too much in small items, but, you know, stick and a clarity is, like, pretty minimal. All things considered. Okay, so we're diving pretty hard. We're up by 4K. Lifestealer and Fess. SF showed up. Okay. Yeah, I mean, honestly, you're half your potential because you just don't have a stick. Pretty crazy, actually. Like, I think what you're doing in the game is good. You just, you know, we don't... I guess what I'm wondering is... For me, the goal here is, like, I don't need to understand Spearbreaker. I can just see that, meaning, like, this, for me, applies to every hero in the game. Where I would just be like, oh, I'm, like, running out of mana. I'm just going to buy an item reactionarily to running out of mana. And, like, I would have recognized that at the moment that you were going base at, like, where is it? It's not this one. You went top here, I think, and then you went base after, like, one charge. Yeah, like, right here. This is where I would have been like, huh, I want to stay on map, but I don't have mana. And I would have flown myself a stick and a clarity right there. Like, that's what I would have done. But, like, and then you just continue playing. And yeah, it's just, yeah, this, for me, this is like, oh, I would love to turn this drow kill, and I would literally just sit here. This is what I would do if I were you. I would literally just say, hey, Ogre, be ready when this guy respawns. I'm just going to sit here. And if this drow TP's in, I'm just going to, like, at least chunk him down to half HP. Like, that's what I would do here. I feel like you're missing a lot of pressure, is what I'm thinking by having to go back to base like this. Yeah, and then we're going to fast forward. I don't need to rewatch all this stuff. Where are we at? You were fighting bottom. Let me know if you have questions.
No.
Yeah, I guess just my main thought is, like, resource management is important on every single hero. And I think it needs attention if you're running out of mana this many times and you didn't buy an item. But I don't need to harp on it too much. That's not exactly why you're here. You talked about, like, having an early game advantage and turning it into a throw of some kind. Okay. Why did you run back in? What's happening here? You're pretty low. You have charge again in a bit. Oh, you got like licked. I see. I see what you're going for. Okay.
I learned Largo's a pretty hard counter to Spirit Break.
Yeah, he's pretty annoying because he licks off your bulldoze as well.
That as well, but he would just drop a Frog Stomp, and I would just charge into the Frog Stomp, and it's like there's nothing.
Okay, I like that you finished a creep wave and then got your drums. I like this a lot. Okay, good targeting. You have like an ultra wide monitor?
Yes.
Okay. I was just wondering because like your vision seems weird, but yeah, it makes sense. Okay. So in this exact moment, I would run towards top because they're all dead. We have ult on cooldown for 45 seconds, and I would blitz it to here. I'd even consider TPing. I would have a stick, and I would have sticked and TP top. Looks like Night Stalker might go there. Okay. So this is commonly my problem with people I'm coaching that are 3 to 4K. You guys have generally pretty good map sense of where to make moves. Like, actually, I've noticed it. I'm like, wow, it's pretty impressive. You're making good moves here. You literally got your drums, smoked your team to mid, took a team fight. Fantastic. What you guys do with team fight wins is a huge problem. So for me, when we win team fights, I just want us to think the map is ours. And it's imagine like we're trying to rob someone's house and this is the time that they're not home. And you're like, I'll just wait till they get home. Like that's kind of what you guys are doing. So in this spot, I want to think the time that they're dead, I need to extract as much out of the map as possible and then be full health, full mana, ready to go again when my cooldowns are ready, right? So like whatever hero you're playing, it's going to be different. But for Spear Breaker, you have 60 seconds to extract the map, right? Because they're dead for 30. They need to like teleport out of base and like walk somewhere. And you can kind of like probably be back in base or fly yourself a clarity. What like if you with your health right now, I would say I would like fly myself a mango and a clarity, or I'd go look at the with the Lotus pool over here. You know, like I'm checking options basically. And my thought is you getting like 7 or 8 creeps worth of experience, reloading your resources in the next 60 seconds is like what's going to define your skill. Okay. So however much you're farming out of this is telling me, you know, what basically your MMR. So like right now I would want to TP top. I would clear this wave right here, the catapult plus the next wave. I'm going to pick up a Lotus. I'm not going back to base. The thing about Shadow Fiend TPing there is he's now off map. Your team is now top. Like your Shadow Fiend could just be hitting this. What I mean by off map is the enemy knows where your team's going to be now. They're all top. Your carry just TP'd there. It's like, what does the enemy learn from a Spirit Breaker TPing somewhere?
Not much.
Nothing, right? So Spirit Breaker is one of the best heroes in the game at this. It's like Spirit Breaker, Dawnbreaker, Underlord kind of. But like Spear Breaker and Dawnbreaker are like the best. So a lot of people don't value the fact that what if you were reloading your resources, Shadow Fiend and Night Stalker are sitting in this, like Shadow Fiend's farming this, Ogre's like taking mid wave, and then Night Stalker's over here, and like you guys are controlling this. Like imagine this, right? You guys are all controlling this, like you're stealing their camps. And then the Spear Breaker with global presence TP's top and takes this farm. But now all of a sudden we just have 3 heroes sitting nowhere. And these are things you can't do anything about your teammates making this mistake. But I've told people time and time again, if you don't properly TP to waves, somebody else is going to do it.
Right.
And Spear Breaker's a great example because he's global and he can't jungle for shit. Right? Like he just has no other options. Right. So, do you see like how somehow a 4-team kill has turned into most of your team being in a place that doesn't do anything?
Yes.
Like, you see how that's kind of happened? And I say this as a precursor to this is how the enemy gets more space than they're supposed to get.
Yeah.
So this is just stuff. Let's see what happens here. This isn't like all you, obviously, but I'm trying to tell you your role in this. But
No, yeah, that
fortunately,
makes, and that's
yep,
probably why I have these games where I have this lead,
yeah.
and then throwing it.
Okay, so you got a charge. Great. Guess what you're supposed to do right now?
TP bottom.
Yeah. Boom, baby. This is like 7 creeps that you're going to be getting. Fantastic. We don't need to do anything more here. Like, if your team wants to pressure the tower, that's fine. Like, this is the kind of stuff where I know you guys are getting 2 kills, but
Yeah.
Lifestealer free farming this shit and 9 creeps dying underneath tower is why we're losing this game eventually. I know it sounds like I've had to tell people this. Stop pushing tier 2 towers. Stop going for more. Like, if you used your shit and there's like a wave to farm, we need to go farm it. So here's what it is. When you use your ult or resources, check lanes and map to effectively reset the map and then go again. You can make this exact same move if they present it to you like 30 seconds from now. Like,
Right.
it's the idea is when we are just letting creeps die to our towers while we're doing this, it's like I can just tell you as a life stealer, I'm like, thank you. And I'd be
Yeah.
so fucking annoyed if a spear breaker support TP's in front of me and I'm like, I guess I have to run away now. Like,
Yeah.
that just feels terrible for lifestealer, right? It just feels terrible. So maybe I'm not sure if you envision this, but if I'm a carry lifestealer here and I see a spear breaker TP in front of me, I actually have to run away from you, which like sucks. Like, I'm not gonna like retreat to base, but I'm gonna like start farming backwards, and then like suddenly lifestealer's map presence goes like this, and he's like back in his base again. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so right now I think your moves are really good. I think your general like playmaking is great. These like 2 times of downtime to TP top and TP bottom are, I think for me it's a pretty pivotal issue, and it's hard to like convince people exactly, or like not convince, but like quantify the drawbacks of this, right? Like, how exactly does this end up playing out? But
Right.
you know, for me, if you finish those 2 or 3 creep waves, you're gonna have an extra level. You might be finishing your Shadow Blade right now. If you have that plus a wand or even a stick and like a clarity or 2 where you're like have enough consistent resources to be fighting, you are doing so many of the hard things correct. Meaning like general good movements around the map, and we just need to get these resets after the fights a bit more clean, plus resource management. If we can get those 2 things, like I think it's a pretty, I think they're holding you back a lot for what it could
Yeah.
be. Like right now, you're gonna have to like go base again because you have no resources.
You're about to see the what's like. Oh well, I know the solution.
So what happens here? We like dove them at daytime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, quite frankly, this is a non-nighttime Night Stalker 300 gold off Blink. We're getting carried away. I mean, I know we're up by 10k, but we effectively don't have a hero who's worth 7,200. Like, he just doesn't exist in the game. Ogre initiated this. Honestly, you can't do anything about it. So I think what you did is fine. You're going to TP base. I hope you charge top, which you do. Fantastic. You buy your soul ring, better late than never to adjust to the mana problems. I don't think you could particularly do anything about what happened bottom there. You're going to go through portal, perhaps? No. Okay. You're looking at the lane. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So my thought is, who is your idea of who you're playing around here?
Ogre.
I want you to look at your lineup and tell me who you think is the best hero to play around at this exact moment.
Based on where they're at.
No, based on strength in the game.
Stalker.
Yeah, this guy. He's got ult. Who's your damage?
Shadow Fiend.
Okay. So your 2 strongest guys are bottom. I need you to either push out the wave and then connect to them, or I need you to connect to them. That's it. That's pretty much the rule. We're either like being obnoxious while split pushing, or we are connecting to our strongest guys. Our role as a support is to recognize who on our team is the strongest and connect to them in any way possible. So what sucks in these games is when 2 guys are really fucking strong and there's just, quite frankly, 3 guys kind of having a party on the other side of the map. It feels awful.
Yeah.
And so I just need you to not be a part of this. You did a great job of not being a part of this. Like, you helped how you could, but like your ogre kind of went Rambo there. You know what I mean? Like, not too much you can do about that. Other than potentially saying to your team to play around Nightstalker ulti, but that's, you know, they're probably going to do it anyway. It is what it is. But this is the part where, however long it takes you to connect to Nightstalker and SF here is your MMR. Like, however long it takes. So I'm just going to, like, I would have gone through Portal right now, based on what I see. I would either go through Portal right now, or I would ask them to go through Portal. One or the other. I'd say, like, hey, after that wave, Shadow Fiend, can you go through Portal? If he doesn't, I would go through Portal. I'm either making a call to defend top with them, or I'm going straight to them bottom. So, like, if you want to charge this wave, that's fine. But, like, whatever this is, I just want to get out of here. I want you to go bottom right now. Whatever this is. This feels so awkward. We don't want to respond to whatever this is by the enemy team. We want you to be standing over here, and whoever shows bottom gets fucking dove. That's what I want to be thinking right now. Okay, so we end up walking to our guy's bottom. This is like a natural order of things. Meaning, you know, you eventually be like, I guess we should go bottom. So it took you about a minute and a half. So you have the right instinct. We just need to make it faster. Fantastic. Crazy how that works out, right? Combined with the strong guys and kill them. Okay, so now Nightstalker is not strong, so we want to split push and focus on getting our items, which is what you're doing. So I'm going to go through gate right now. I'm walking through gate, and then I'm going to charge this wave. Finish my item. What I'm going to do. Nope. Okay. Don't be afraid to take waves from your team. Is that something you're afraid of?
Maybe a little bit. Not too much of Spirit Breaker, because I know my job is to pick up the scraps of creep waves.
Gotcha. Is there any of this that is, like, new to you? Meaning, like, I'm teaching you something new, or am I, like, reminding you of things that you know to do? What is, like, the vibe of this session so far?
A lot of it is reminders, but I mean, that's still helpful, I think.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, yeah. I guess I believe it's all helpful. I guess I'm just wondering. Would you say this is like a consistency issue for you in terms of executing this stuff, or like what do you think is stopping you from going bottom wave right now, like through portal to bottom wave?
So I would say that my mindset is that I'm supposed to pick up the more dangerous creep waves, and because that creep wave is right by my tower, I feel like it's to my cores. So whichever core goes gets that.
Okay.
So I should be getting this top one because that's the dangerous one where the enemy is more likely to play. So
okay, we fixed it. We understand the root of your problem. Okay, so your current perspective. My role is to take dangerous farm so that my cores don't die, right?
Yeah.
Taking it. This perspective is very useful when you're losing. Change in perspective. Take the most passive farm away from any objectives or invasive plays as a global hero to enable your team to run at them.
I see that.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because your team, I can tell you as a core player, I just want to farm every camp and walk this way. Like, I just want to walk at them. Like, I'm in SF, I'm like, I'm going to go click people. I'm a Night Stalker with ulti. I just want to run at people. But I can't do that. Somebody on your team is going to go bottom now, is what's going to happen. And then Night Stalker is going to, like, somebody's going to go bottom in all of this, or we just never go bottom, and we take, like, a random ass fight in their triangle. That's the other option. The two options are nobody farms it, or somebody farms it and you don't take a good fight. Those are the two options. So for me, I would want you to think right now that the lanes tell you if a fight's going to be good or not. So what I want you to know in this circumstance is you guys aren't allowed to fight until bottom lane's cleared. You're up by 6K. That lane has no business sitting there. Right? Like, you guys can do whatever the fuck you want. You're up by 6K. So we don't want a lane just passively sitting over here with this is like 400 gold. It's like a lot of gold. Right? So the way I'm looking at this is as long as you know that creep waves are enablers for the team that's ahead to fight. So when you're losing, it's great if you're like being obnoxious, taking dangerous farm, because you're effectively thwarting the opponent's ability to fight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in this case, you're almost kind of thwarting your own team's ability to fight. And what we can say is that so right now in the game, given the exact moment, my idea is this. We are split farming until Night Stalker has ultimate again. When Night Stalker has ultimate again, we want to do something powerful, right? Like meaningful in the game. So it's 25 minutes. It's going to be in 3 minutes. Or 3 seconds. It's going to be 25 minutes. Night Stalker has ulti in 45 seconds. I'm thinking Roche bottom pit with what my team's doing right now. Roche is currently top. He's going to walk to bottom. So I'm thinking we have 45 seconds. What's something we can do in 45 seconds? Roche bottom pit. We also have wards there. Literally the freest alley-oop of we've got wards. We've got a power spike. There's every reason to be playing around bottom right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I want it to mainly be that we are in split push mode until, like, this is especially Spear Breaker specific, but it's not only Spear Breaker. We're in split push mode, we're in farm mode, we're in obnoxious mode. And then when's our timing? When are we going to go again? And in this particular game, it's Night Stalker. It's usually like the guy that has, it's Ravage or Night Stalker Ultimate or Chronosphere or, whatever, Quap Ulti. And then we go. And in this case, for me, it's like, how do we end up in this spot where we're diving their triangle? In my experience, it's because somebody didn't clear a wave and nobody said anything. Those have been my experiences. And we kind of just end up making a play. So a lot of times as support, it ends up being your job to say something. But there are also times where, like this one, for example, where you not clearing the wave made this more likely. It's not like it's purely your fault, but it made this more likely to happen. Like, I just know for a fact if you went through Portal and said, hey guys, I'm gonna clear this wave, let's take Roche when Night Stalker's ult is up, like, this situation is 10 times less likely to happen. It could still happen. Teammates might do it, right? But it's very unlikely. And you, like, running in there with them is equally bad. We enable this play. Somebody needed to go bottom. It could have been you at any point here. I guess for me as a support, even as a core, I'm always thinking about what part of the map I want to be fighting in. That's something I'm always thinking about. So earlier, Night Stalker had ulti, and I'm like, I just want to be with Night Stalker. I want to be wherever that guy is. In this case, we weren't taking a fight yet, and we're kind of like taking a lead. So I'm like, where do I want to be on the map? And it's like, well, in 40 seconds, I want to fight again. In 40 seconds, the most pivotal objective right now is Roche. So I want to be around that area. So earlier, nothing bad was happening, but it took us longer than it needed to get together. And in this case, we took a fight somewhere that we don't want to be. So I guess I'm asking, how often do you find yourself asking, where do I want to be fighting in this game? and then basically following it, being disciplined about it. How often would you say that's like happening for you?
Like in this game or overall?
Overall, in general.
I try to think about where I want to fight overall. I would say this is just a snap decision. It became nighttime, and I think my team just went, and so I went too.
Mm.
But I do find it's very hard to get people to go Roche or do Tormentor. Even if I were to say, "Hey guys, I'm gonna go through Portal. Let's wait for Night Stalker roll and do Roche." Maybe there's a higher chance of them listening by me saying that for sure. But it is very difficult sometimes if you're saying that for 20 minutes and nobody's doing anything. It's like, okay, guys, we'll just do whatever the team wants then. I heard
Go ahead.
SVG say this, and I imagine this is way more true for pros than it is for pubs. But he said it's usually better to do the wrong thing as a team than to do the right thing by yourself.
I completely disagree with that on all fronts, on everything that is not pro play. I disagree with that entirely. I would talk to Avery about this. I'm 95% sure he meant pro teams.
Yeah, he probably did.
I'm 95% sure he did. My advice is don't make mistakes that are not your own. Tell me you thought that was a good play, and that's why you did it.
I can't.
Otherwise, I can't coach you.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not like blaming you. It's just like I can't coach you because it's like the only way that somebody can be coachable, quote unquote, is to know they're making their own decision. It's like if I ask somebody in real life, why did you do that? And they're like, well, somebody told me to. And I'm like, well, I have a concern with that action. It's like, what do you do with that? So for me, it's interesting, right? There's a lot of things we can't control that are happening in pubs. There's so many things. And there's also times where there's a lot of miscommunication, where not only are people not potentially listening, but they're also getting mad at each other, right? It's like a very emotionally draining, tense game sometimes. But the one thing that I've tried to tell everybody is make your own mistakes and don't be a part of things you don't believe in. This is like the most important thing. So if I tell you, I'm not trying to teach you to get your team to listen to you to go Roche. I'm teaching you that's the ideal play. Make the call, play around it. If they go do this shit, then you're farming bottom right now.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. Like, that just is what it is. But, like, I can tell you, if you make this play with your team, the wrong play, across 1,000 games, you're not going to win. Like, it's not winning you the game. At the end of the day, it's weird because we want to work with our teammates, but if we also blindly follow them, that's a recipe for being the same MMR eternally because we're following people who are our MMR. So it's not that I'm telling you, fuck your team, never listen to them. It's that work with them when you agree with them. And that's just, like, I know it's easier said than done. It's simple, but it's not easy. I totally get that. But I just want to make sure you know, I'm not expecting any of this to be your teammate listens to you. It's like some glorious, clean Roche fight. That's not what I care about. It's that if we say what we want and then stick to it, there's that percent chance that our teammates do it, great. And then there's the percent chance where they do this, and we're just farming bottom. And I can tell you, you'll win games doing that, but you won't win games doing this. That's what I'm telling you. You're not going to win every game that your teammates decide to throw. That's going to happen sometimes. Like, we can't win every game. But I can tell you across numerous games, it's much better for you to be playing according to your own gameplay. I went on a bit of a rant there. Any questions or thoughts from you about that?
No, and I agree with what you're saying.
But yeah. I mean, it's easier said than done, I'm aware.
It just gets exhausting sometimes when, because this probably isn't the first match of the day, and I know I am usually the one saying, hey guys, let's roast or do Tormentor, and nobody's listening, and so it just sometimes it just gets exhausting. But I still should try to be more consistent.
I can totally understand the idea that it's exhausting. For me, because I can relate, I think a lot of people listening can relate. I find it that I get exhausted because I expect an answer.
Yeah, for sure.
And for me personally, it's been eye-opening that when I stick to what I want to do in the game and I communicate what I want to do with virtually no expectation of an answer, Dota is actually pretty peaceful. People either respond to you or you just keep doing your thing.
Yeah.
It becomes exhausting when we think we're supposed to get an answer. I know.
100%.
So go ahead.
I said 100%. I agree with that.
Yeah. And it's
It's just the
sad.
lack of an answer that gets so exhausting.
Yeah. And the thing is that I guess I want to hope my message lands is that it's not the lack of an answer that gets exhausting. It's you expecting an answer and not getting one.
Yeah.
And I say that because it's not that I'm trying to say it's your fault here, right? I'm trying to say that this is the agency you have. You can't make that guy listen to you, but you
Right.
do control what happens. You do control your mentality when he doesn't listen to you. And I struggle with this too. So I'm not here like on some high horse saying, dude, it's just this easy. It's so obvious.
Right.
But I'm telling you, in the days where I'm in a good mindset, that's what I'm doing. And for me, what's been happening is because I've had to unlearn this habit myself, and it's very difficult and it takes time to rewire. But the days where I'm like down and out, not in the best mood and that kind of stuff, I'm going to respond the exact same way you do, where I'm like, man, can my teammates just listen to me? It's like a completely reasonable and understandable human response. But for me, knowing that I also have agency to just not feel that way, if I know by saying this, I'm not being guaranteed an answer, like it's been liberating for me personally. And it may not help you, but it's been liberating for me. And I hope it helps.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, Dota, it can be taxing, but it sucks to describe a game we love playing as exhausting. Like that,
Yeah.
that sucks, right? And that's part of what I'm trying to do when I coach you guys is all the things all of us can relate to, but it also it doesn't have to be that way. And that's what I'm trying to say. Any questions or thoughts about any of that?
No, I feel like you're pretty spot on. Where it's just like expecting the answer is what's getting exhausting. Where it's just like if I just say, "Okay, no one wants to do that. I'm gonna do my thing," and if you get mad at me for going bot and split pushing when you guys all die in their instance, and that's your problem.
Them getting mad at you is the same as you getting upset that they're not listening.
Yeah.
It's their problem. Like you said,
Right.
it's the same thing. We all play a role in this. Like we got to find the right balance. It's not 100% your fault. It's not 100% their fault. It's not like miscommunication is going to fucking happen in a Dota game. Why? Because you're 5 fucking strangers, never played together before, and you're just loading into a really complex game with a lot of moving parts and snap decisions being made in the moment, and shit's just going to fucking happen. One thing that was really interesting about the community, I've been building with the dojo and everything, is that initially we were trying to be like, how can we minimize frustrating situations? And then over time, it just became so abundantly clear that it's, no. How do we handle them? Because they're going to happen no matter what. Like these miscommunications, these times where you talk to your team and they just don't fucking listen. There's going to be times where you make a call or like you tell your team, I'm going bottom, I can't be there. And then they run into the enemy triangle as 4 and feed. And then they blame you for not being there. This shit's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's gonna happen. Period. It's what we do with it. That's how I've learned from players that are just more grounded than myself. Like, they just do that better. They just have a cleaner perspective, I would say, on that stuff. And for me, it's been liberating. And it's almost sad because I don't have as much time to play Dota anymore, so I've been able to apply this more and more to real life, but I'm still working on translating it to Dota. Difficult, easier said than done. But the main takeaway I want for you is that if you make your own mistake and play the game according to what you believe in, I promise you'll be way easier to coach. I already think you're pretty coachable. Like you seem to have like an open mind and a healthy perspective, but you'll learn a lot faster, and you'll feel like whenever things do go wrong and you're asking yourself, what could I have done differently, rather than getting consumed by the, man, like, that play felt awful. I didn't feel like I wanted to do that, but I did it anyway. Like, 'cause that,
Yeah.
it just feels like, it feels like you're in a fucking grinder of repeating the same mistakes whenever, you know what I mean? When
Yes.
that feels awful,
Yes.
in my experience. So, but yeah, that's definitely the beginning of a throw. Game's not over though. Got about 10 minutes left. Just let me know if there's something I haven't hit, because I want to make sure I get, we've broken down different portions of the game. I just want to make sure I'm watching as much as I
Nothing
can.
in the game I specifically wanted to talk about because it's just like the overall. How do we have this early game lead turn into a throw? But like even if you look at the win graph, like we had a chance to win at 50 minutes, so it's like it's just constant.
So
Back and
what's
forth,
really
back.
yeah, I got you. So what's really interesting about this is, I understand you know what? This shit's just gonna happen in pubs. Like, you're playing around your team, you're pushing the wave instead of Varosh. You're like playing the sides. I think you play this fight pretty reasonably. I don't think you
I
did
was kind of
anything
hoping
here.
they'd gank me, but
What?
they outsmarted. I was hoping that the enemy team would come gank me and would ignore the roast.
Yeah. No, I think what you did in that fight was overall very good. So we're just gonna keep watching. I liked how you handled that. You're gonna charge bottom right after that fight, so you're doing a better job of that later on in the game. We just got to get that going earlier.
Yeah.
Let's
Once
see.
I get like into the transition of doing it, I feel like I'll do a good job at constantly keeping the waves pushed out. But I have to
Yes,
kind of hit that flow state.
it's interesting. You say that, and then you're ignoring this to go charge this guy.
Yeah. As soon as I said I looked top, and I was like, no.
So this is something where you're going when this guy's ulti is 20 seconds cooldown, and he's almost to a nullifier.
Yeah.
And there's just a wave. I need
That's my
you to just not be a part of this. Like, I would want you looking at the game, doing the exact same thing we did at like 20 minutes, or 25, which is, when are we strong again? Night Stalker ulti. I have 18 seconds before my team, or what is it? I have 18 seconds before my team wants to do something. I'm going to go clear top, and my next charge will be available for the fight if there is one. And I would just communicate, guys, hey, I'm charging top. Night Stalker's ult is up in 20. And I would just say that. And it's not because I'm telling my team what to do. It's just, if I tell them the reason for my decision, people are far less likely to get tilted. They still do. But like, I've noticed myself, they're just far less likely. It is at that point their problem. If they get tilted at me for doing something that I called, and having a
I
reason
noticed
for it.
that I get less tilted too if someone tells me what they're doing because it's like, well, at least he told me, and so then I
Yeah.
knew to back up.
Yeah.
Or it's like, well, he
Exactly.
communicated, so it's like, am I really? I can't really blame
I can't
him
really
if he
do much
told
with
me.
that. Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. So yeah, now top just kind of sits there for a while. You do charge it though. So better late than never. A lot of this stuff is how long it takes you to identify the correct thing rather than not doing the correct thing. I think that's a big issue for you. Or like, not the big issue. It's like you don't have as much of an issue of not doing the right stuff. It's just how long it takes. So, what is the main ability or item or cooldown that decides your team's ability to fight again? These questions are especially relevant when you're winning, right? Because people will take kind of careless fights when they're ahead. It's like, oh, we're up by 10K. We're just going to go run at them. Like, that's something people will do, but we still have to be very calculated about what is the best time to run at them. So what is the main ability, item, or cooldown that decides your ability to fight again? Line up connecting with your team with these cooldowns. So like in this example we saw earlier, when Night Stalker had ulti, it took you like a minute and a half to get to him. And then there's twice where he's not had ulti, where you go fight with your team. So these are what we're trying to avoid happening. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would say I probably should see Night Stalker more like a Tide Hunter than view him like a Slarder.
That could definitely be, I mean, it could just be a potential misunderstanding of Night Stalker as a hero. And And so, you know, something that is easy.
Well, once it's nighttime, which is half the game,
Yeah.
then he's ready to go. And then during the daytime, he has his ult. So it's just like, I kind of do see him as a constant go hero.
No. Night Stalker is definitely not a constant go hero.
Yeah.
There are times where you chase for more, for sure, but he's definitely not a constant go hero. He might be the most polarized hero in the game of how useful he is. Like, he might actually be the most polarizing hero in the game. Not at all like a Slardar. They are run at you heroes. I guess like that, they have that in common. But the way they run at you is very different. You TP back to base, you're going to charge top. I don't hate this. Okay. Yeah, you're charging a lot of waves now. Your team's looking to Roche. You guys are going to do it. This looks pretty good to me. Fantastic. We want to charge top right now. Yep, perfect. Beautiful. I like what you're doing here. Yep, this is all good with me. You're going to charge it again. I think this is great. Connecting with your team and then leaving, and then connecting with your team. Fighting outside of base, catching the drow. We don't want to go high ground though, because they have a wyvern. Okay.
Wyvern definitely played well this game.
Yeah. Gonna charge top again. I think this is all great. As we're just wrapping this up here, I'm just watching. This is all like the last like 5 minutes by you. I think has been clean as fuck. You're gonna run away. Ogre TP's in. So you guys force those TPs. I'd be charging somewhere else almost immediately. So like right now, you guys force those TPs. Wait, where was it? So you get gone on. Where is it that you get gone on? It's like right here. I would try to charge bottom right now. I'd say, hey team, run at Largo right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would do. You kind of do that by considering charging that guy. SF seems to want to sit in front of their base, which is something I would just probably communicate we need them to come out of base. So I think the issue here is that SF is not hitting creeps. He's just sitting in front of their base. So you guys aren't actually extracting a lead, but you're doing a good job. Yeah, this is great. You're cleaning up the map. BKB. I think instead of Lincolns, I would definitely go Octarine Core and just make yourself like a team fight beast by doing that. Lion gets killed by Wyvern ulti. How does this play out? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, overall, I think your mid to late game execution is pretty great. I think we never want to push this. Yeah, no Aegis or anything. It's where you get baited into these fights that I think you just get a bit carried away. Because sometimes, like, this one's the most understandable of all of them by far. Where, like, right now, you guys, like, you engage again. This looks good. Still at Night Stalker ulti going. You know, SF BKB ultied. It's like, okay, SF BKB ultied. Night Stalker's dead. Let's just leave. Like, this is the moment. Right here, right? Because this guy has no BKB anymore. And I can tell you as a carry player, you said you played some carry. Like, that's what we talked about last time. You need your BKB late game, right?
Right.
So I would love to see this guy finish his Satanic and you charge mid. There is, like, maybe this lack of patience from all of you.
Yeah.
The thing about all of this is I just need you to tell me that you thought that was the best time to go high ground. If you thought that, then we can learn from it. But based on what we've been talking about this session, I don't think you thought that. I might be wrong though. Like, there are going to be judgment calls you make that are incorrect, and that's fine. Like, we all do it. So the main thing I think if I could get you from this session is resetting after early to mid game fights. That's a big one. Being consciously aware of when and where you want to fight, and then just communicate what you're doing. I think if you shift from making calls to what you're doing, you will have more, like, or less exhaustion from this, like, communicating and then people not listening to you. Does that make sense? For me, it's been a pretty drastic perspective change to communicate what I'm doing versus
No, yeah, that
what I want them to
that
do.
makes I have a question though.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't pronounce his name. It's like Zequinox.
Yeah,
No, talking about.
Z Quixotics. Yeah.
Yeah, Zequinox. He once said that the support mentality is basically no retreat, and so like if your cores are, I understand in this instance I should leave, but like how do I gauge that of like my cores are not leaving, so I'm not supposed to retreat as support.
How do we gauge that? We explain what we are thinking. Hey, SF's BKB is on cooldown. I'm charging top.
Okay.
Don't expect him to know to leave. Just make the decision based on what you think. Like, I'm telling you the reason that I would have backed there is because my SF BKB requiem'd.
Right.
And then I would look at his items and be like, oh, I would say SF's BKB's cooldown. Let him finish Satanic. I'm charging top. But that's just because that's what I'm thinking. Like, it's not, like, I know it's not as easy as I'm making it sound to just communicate what you're thinking. But we're not telling him what to do. It's just, hey, because of these things, I'm going to go do that.
Mhm.
For me, it's very different than saying back off.
Yeah.
Because if SF's like, hey, 2 of them are dead, why am I backing off? You're not telling him to back off. You're saying, like, if he wants to continue running high ground, like, you know, there's only so much we can do. I think everybody watching here is like, why is a BKB-less SF who has gold for Satanic going high ground?
Yeah.
I think, like, we can all agree on that. It's just, it's not your responsibility to make him not go high ground. It's your responsibility to inform yourself of what you think is the right decision. And then when you make a decision, it will work better if you just say what you're thinking. It's hard. And so, like, you know, sometimes the first step for me is I have to mute my teammates to allow myself to hear myself. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like so clouded by communication within the team and all this kind of stuff. Or like maybe I've had a rough day at pubs and been yelled at a few times and I'm getting in my own head. Stuff like this happens.
Right.
And I do think it's still very impactful if I mute myself. I've even learned from people in the server that if I'm going to mute myself going into a game, that I can just tell my teammates, hey, I'm mode focus. I'm muting myself. Or I'm muting you guys, but I'm going to still communicate. Like, I can say that. And they said that they would much rather me do that than just mute other people. Right? So that's like an example of, once again, saying like, hey, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to be trying my best. I'm trying my best to be a good teammate, but I also need to take care of myself. And if I feel like I can't fucking focus because of the people communicating that day, then it's my responsibility to do what I need to do.
Yeah, I get that, especially as carry.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's especially as every role, because sometimes even as a support, you're getting dragged into bad fights, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's very important on every role. So, I mean...
say it was the comms that was dragging. It was just kind of people going.
Ah, I see. Yeah, either way. It can be multiple different factors.
Right.
I think Zach is a great guy. That's Z Quixotics. But I will significantly advocate, like, I will be a heavy advocate of not doing things you don't believe in. Like, that is my, like, if I had to say one of my top 5, like, coaching mantras is that. Like, it's one of the most important things for me. Once again, this is perspective. So if you play out some games and you resonate more with his way of thinking, like, that's fine. You know, no offense taken here. I'm just also, I'm trying to help you guys enjoy the game and win. That's what my goal is. So,
and I don't think his way of thinking would have worked here because, like you said, SFS doesn't have BKB. There's really nothing I can do to save him if they go on him at this point if he doesn't run away.
Yeah.
Like, what happened. We're all gonna die. So it's just like I have to just get out. If I am like some save support, like an Omni Knight who can throw a Guardian and let him TP out, well, that's different. But a Spirit Breaker is probably just get out.
Yeah, and it's different given every situation. Maybe him not having BKB isn't relevant if you're Omni Knight, right? But but yeah, no. That was my goal for today, is just to give you my perspective. I think that I feel like we identified I think you have a lot of good things that I'm seeing in these games. And if we can, like, we have the notes already. Do you have any final questions? Any clarifications you need for the stuff we've gone over?
No, that's all I have from you for now.
Sweet, man. Then I'll let you go there. I enjoyed
All
this
right,
session.
so same here.
Have a good one, man.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.